Hey everyone, it's Lisa Moore, Fit for More. Some of you who follow me know that I've been a Toastmaster for a number of years now. So Toastmasters, just if you don't know, it's a global organisation that helps people to become better public speakers. Whether that's to be able to deliver your best man speech, your mother of the bride speech, to give a presentation at work, or actually to be ambitious and do a TED talk. It can help you in so many different ways. And it's helped me hugely in all sorts of different ways that I would never have thought of. My original goal was to help my business and be able to sort of run workshops and things like that without being nervous. So why am I talking about Toastmasters? Well, one of the first things you do when you join Toastmasters, the first speech that you give is known as your Icebreaker. And it's all about you. Because the idea is you know all about you. So if your first speech was to give a speech on the politics of the 1800s in Russia, it would be really tough. So, the whole idea of doing an icebreaker about you is that it's about you. So I realise that I do quite a lot of lives. I talk about lots of stuff. But I haven't come on here and talked about me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about me. So I class myself as just a normal girl. Nothing special, nothing great, just a normal girl. I had a normal upbringing. My parents were married. I had a sister. We lived in a reasonably nice house in a reasonably nice area. I went to school. I did okay at school. I wasn't an A-star student, but I wasn't a failing student. Left school at 16, went straight out to work. So I didn't do college, didn't do university, didn't do any of that. Just went out to work. But I always felt two things. One is I always felt if there was a group that I was on the outside looking in. I never felt like I was part of the group. I always felt like I was on the periphery of the group. And I was always worried about what other people thought about me. And what did that achieve for me? Well, it didn't really achieve a lot because for many, many years, most of my life, in fact, it held me back. And I can remember with clarity moments where I was in the classroom when I was, a young girl, and I wouldn't put my hand up because I'd be scared that, maybe I got the answer wrong and then people would laugh at me. Or when I then started to go out to work, if there were meetings. And actually, interestingly, when I look back now, this got more of a problem as I sort of, I didn't exceed in my job, but as the job got harder, I was less inclined to put my hand up, or less inclined and more worried about saying something in case I looked stupid. And I think it was because I was worried that people would say, well, you don't know what you're talking about, you need to go, we don't want you working here. But there were moments of bravery in my life where I did step forward. I was made head girl when I was at junior school. I didn't push myself forward for it, but that recognition gave me a little bit of hope and a little bit of courage, I suppose. And I joined the music group, the Crowthorne Crotchets, which makes me laugh now every time I say it. And we went on telly, and I played the glockenspiel and sang Dietrich Bangle. So there were moments, when I look back, there were moments where I had those moments of bravery. But for most of my life, most of my adult life, I felt like I was an outsider and I was really worried about what the other people think. Fast forward to my 40th, 10 years ago, and I ran the London Marathon. There's a whole story there, and there's probably a video of me talking about my marathon story. But what the marathon proved to me, or actually what the training for the marathon proved to me, was actually how much strength I had. And I know that sounds really weird, but it was the physical strength that gave me the mental strength to change my life. And I left my marriage. That was a really, really hard decision. And I feel emotional just talking about it now, because leaving anything especially a relationship, is a really tough thing to do. And I sort of feel it's maybe braver to leave than it is to stay. But anyway, that was my experience, and I decided that actually I couldn't do it anymore. And there are lots of reasons behind it, and we don't need to go into that. But I had that moment of clarity where I had the bravery to get out there and just go, enough, I don't want to live this life anymore. I need to do something different. And so that was my epiphany and my moment to recognise that I completely lost Lisa. I didn't know who I was anymore. I'd lost that. I had lots of labels. I had mum, I had sister, I had daughter, I had wife, I had then had ex-wife. I had a little bit of a label about that I was in sales, that I was a personal trainer, that and then I added some labels like now Toastmaster, craniosacral therapist, life coach, NLP practitioner, business owner. But I guess all of that led me to do more and more brave things, because actually I didn't have a choice. And I think that's the thing when we really find our bravery, that's deep in there with all of us, is that when you find that bravery and you have to do something. You know, I had to make a living. I had to look after my children. I had to earn enough money to be able to put a roof over our heads, to feed ourselves, and so I had to make some really, really tough choices. And I decided that running my own business would be better than going back to the corporate world. Whether that's true or not, I'll never know. But I know it's been the best and the hardest journey that I've ever had to go on. There's been many ups, there's been many downs, there's been fantastic experiences, there's been awful experiences, but it's made me braver and braver, and it's given me much more confidence. And actually, do you know what? Sometimes I still feel like I'm on the outside looking in, but I'm okay with that. It's actually fine. I don't need to be in the middle of the group. I don't need to be the centre of attention. I'm quite happy being on the periphery, but quite happy being invited in from time to time, and I'm quite happy to actually push myself in from time to time. Yes, I worry about what other people think about me. We all do, and it's perfectly natural. And in fact, I think if we don't worry about what other people think about us, we're never going to be as brave as we could be. But we don't have to accept their judgments. We don't have to accept what they think. They can think what they like. What I've learned, certainly through the Toastmasters journey, and certainly through some of the things I've done, is that if you're authentically yourself, you will connect with other people that recognise your authenticity, and the people that don't will just go along on their merry way. So the reason I do what I do now, the reason that I really, really want to coach people, is that I see so much potential in others. I see it all the time. You know, the people that I interview on the radio, the people that came and talked at Inspiring Talks when we were doing that, the people that I meet through Athena, the people that come to me to have cranial or for personal training, I see so much potential. I hear what they're saying, and I want to help them to be braver, to find that bravery within themselves, because quite a lot of those people will tell me something about what they want to achieve, and then they tell me all the reasons why they can't. They're too busy, they're scared, they're worried about what other people think, they don't know how to do it, it's too expensive. All of these excuses I've used myself, and I will probably continue to use them as well, because we're all human, right? But, oh, thanks, Becky, that's really sweet. But, you know, there is so much potential in people that I'm doing this because I want to help them unlock that bravery, unlock that courage. I know that I was forced to do it, and quite often people, when they're forced into a situation, they get on and do it. I'm reading a book at the moment called The Wealthy Gardener, and listen to one of the stories that he was talking about today, and how he was running his chiropractic business and had started to write the book, but he was really struggling to find the time to do it, and had thought to himself, I really need to take 3 months off to actually just sit down and do it. But he kept procrastinating and kept faffing and, you know, la, 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 la. Like we do. We put things off. And then the universe takes over. And he mentioned this quote, which I think was by Oprah Winfrey, who said, the universe will always whisper to you. And if you don't hear it, eventually it will scream. And what happened to this guy was that he had an accident and he cut off his little finger. And when he went after the operation and he woke up, his doctor said to him, well, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to take 3 months off work. Bingo. So he was forced into it. And quite often I think we are forced into it. But we don't have to be forced into it. Working alongside and just being brave enough to put your hand up and say, somebody help me. We have a new president of our Toastmasters Club, and I know one of my Toastmasters, Jeff, is watching right now, and it's so nice to see him. But we've got a new president at the moment, Olivia. And when I met Olivia, she was very quiet and didn't really have much confidence, lacked self-esteem, used to sit at the back, do the little timing thing, and she was always nervous about coming up to stage and, you know, would perhaps sort of fiddle, or she'd go, oh, I don't know what to say, and apologise. We worked together a bit. She did my 6-week programme. And I know that she's told me it was a game changer for her. It's really helped her. Now, I tell you what, I'm so proud every time I go to a meeting and she's up on stage and she's smashing it. That girl is smashing it. And I'm so proud that I was a tiny part of helping her to do that. So there we go. You know, that's me. Just a normal girl. Was the good girl, always did the right thing, had moments of bravery, but I have more moments of bravery now. And I know that definitely the last 18 months have knocked me back a bit. I don't have quite so much confidence. I can see my daughter's watching me now, bless her. But I'm getting there. And doing this is probably one of the first little steps to get back and actually share who I am, be authentic. And give a shout out to anybody out there who is feeling lost and overwhelmed, but knows that there's more, but they just don't know how to fill the gap, because I can help you, because I've been there myself. I've walked it. I know what to do. And I'm not that one of these people that just tells you you need to do this, this and this. Yeah, that would be great, but it needs to come from you. So I help you by holding your hand to uncover what you already know to get there. So if you're interested in knowing more about how we could work together, let me know. And there we go. That's my icebreaker speech. And maybe Jeff Grace, who's watching, might privately give me an evaluation of that talk, because it wasn't a prepared talk. I wanted to do it from the heart. Yeah, I've got a couple of notes written down, but I wanted to do it from the heart and talk about who I am, and share that with you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.